Welcome to the Tissue Box Podcast. I'm your host, Pam Jordan. Hello and welcome to the Tissue Box Podcast. I'm your host, Pam Jordan. Welcome to this episode. It's a special episode, and I've got a special guest with me here today. Chrissy, how are you?
I'm fine, Pam. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
We've been knowing each other for a long time, some years, right? And, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do, because you've been in the media for a while, too, doing your thing.
I do a lot of things, but basically, I run social media promotions for different artists, different platforms, and I worked with Win for a while, so that was my internship with the radio. But outside of that, it's promotion, artists, health and healing.
Health and healing.
Mm-hmm.
Health and healing. And we know that you had some health challenges.
Yes, I have.
In the past. Do you care to talk about those challenges?
Well, in 2009, I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, which is an autoimmune disease, which can affect pretty much any part of your body, anything, any organ, whatever it decides to land on, it does what it does. The sarcoid that I have was stage 4, which meant it caused scarring. It scarred everything it touched. So my lungs were scarred up. And over a course of 2 to 3 years, my chest cavity became scarred up. Wow. I was on oxygen. I was on 24-hour oxygen use for about, I'd say, close to 5 years.
Wow. Yeah. So how did they come... How were you diagnosed with that? Were you just feeling a lot of pain and discomfort, or how did the diagnosis come to be?
I was born with asthma, so I always had respiratory issues.
Okay. And
that summer, I remember my dad. I remember coughing. It was like a real dry cough, and my dad was like, "You need to get that cough looked at. Like that don't sound right." But me being me, I was moving, so I used my inhaler or self-medicate, to get through it. And then that year, I was having problems with my gallbladder. So they scheduled me to have my gallbladder removed in September. And during my 6 weeks, I started having breathing troubles. So long story short, went to the emergency room. They did it, the CT, X-ray, whatever. And the doctor came back and told me, he was like, I'm going to give you 2 options. Either we can admit you tonight or you go straight to your doctor in the morning. So, I go to the doctor in the morning. So me and my mom go to my doctor first thing in the morning, and he looks at the x-rays. He takes another x-ray, and he comparing everything, and he said, you have sarcoidosis. And it was kind of, flooring to us because in 95, my mom lost her sister to the same illness.
So is it a genetic?
They try this. They say from the research, they say no, it's not hereditary, but for the simple fact that outside of my mom, my auntie, one of our older cousins had it, like when my mom was little. So to me, yeah, it's very much genetic.
Okay,
that's how I see it.
And so you were like really young.
Yeah, I was 27. Wow, 27 when I got that.
So how did that affect you mentally? Ooh. How did you? Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, let's talk about that. Because it had to affect you. Did you try to? Were you in denial? First of all.
No, I wasn't in denial about it because, like I said, my mom. And
okay.
I was young. I was a kid when my aunt had it, but I saw her go through her stages. She'll be slim one time, and then next couple of weeks she'll have that pie face from the prednisone. So put it like this: I had to sit down in 2009. I honestly thank God made me sit down because I was doing too much.
Okay.
At the time, I was moving, going constantly on the go, and that was the longest time I've sat still, since my mama gave birth to me, probably. Like, I'm constantly moving, constantly on the go. So it's like, sit down.
Sit down.
Yeah. So not being able to work. I was working 2 jobs at the time. Not being able to work, not being able to chase my passion, not being able to provide for myself, do for me anymore. It took a lot.
So what kind of a process did you go through trying to deal with that diagnosis and face the reality that I'm not going to be able to do some of the things that I'm passionate about? What do you do with that energy that you're receiving when you're thinking, what do I do? Where do I go from here?
I still struggle. I still struggle with certain things like not being able to go to the events or go to the shows when something pop up and it's like, I want to go, I want to be there, but I can't move right now, because it's a process. Like I said, I was used to working and providing for myself. So then it's like I had to go back to square one. Now I'm back home with my parents. They basically doing everything for me that they can to help me because I'm not working. The job I had, there wasn't no insurance. So it's like, going back and forth with the doctors and the medication. And I think at the highest point of it, I was on maybe 12 to 13 pills a day.
What?
Per day.
At 27?
Mm-hmm.
So did you get depressed?
Oh, I don't even think I had when everything was going on because it happened so quickly. Like, I don't even think I had a chance to get depressed about it because I went from, normal everyday life to I'm on pills. I'm on all this medication. So either I'm sleep or I'm sleeping. Like that pretty much was it. It was
so
like
it was
being,
like sedated.
Yeah,
you were in like a sedated state,
pretty
like
much. That
pretty much
like.
every day.
Mm-hmm. Because all the different amounts of medications, having to deal with the side effects and side effects of that, and another pill for that. It was just a lot. And I remember it got to the point one night, my mama came in my room, and I saw her walk in my room. She walked around my bed, and she brought it from my TV. And she came, and she stood, like, right here. She said, Christina. And I'm like, I could see her, but I couldn't say nothing to her. Wow. And I remember praying. I remember I prayed that night, like, Lord, if, you see fit to wake me up in the morning, I'm not going to keep on with this medicine like this. Because I feel like, honestly, if I would have kept taking everything that was given to me, I wouldn't be here. Because it was just too much. Mm-hmm.
So it was taking you, the amount of medication that you were on, it was just taking you away from reality pretty much?
Pretty much.
And you were just slowly, you felt yourself just getting worse?
Mm-hmm. I felt myself.
Wow.
Then nobody couldn't, we'll go to the ER, take these, trips to the emergency room, it's all the same process. I'm going from this hospital to that hospital because nobody can't help me here, so we go to this one. And they, draw blood, do x-rays, give me a pain pill, send me home. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Like, this is not it. This something has to give.
So what did you do?
My dad ran into one of the brothers that goes to the Kingdom Hall with him at a convention. And he owns a store in a natural health food store in Sherrall called Vitality Health. And he told him to bring me in there. So I went, me and my mom and my dad, we went in there and we talking to him and whatever, and he told me certain herbs to start using. He told me not to just stop my medication, but, to start incorporating the different supplements that he gave me, which eventually I know worked. I know that it worked for me. And I know that the different, the right herbs helped.
Okay.
That way, yeah.
The right herbs.
The right herbs.
So, and you felt comfortable with that. Did you, first of all, did you feel like, well, there's nothing else I can do, so why don't I just try this?
Because literally the medication itself was making me sicker. Like, and I'm the type of person, I know, like, sometime my doctor will give me something, he'd be like, you have to get used to it, you know. Or that, you know, you read the instruction, they'd be like, well, your doctor saw fit to give you this because of this, and, you know, you need to stick to, basically, you know, take it as directed, you know, basically fight through whatever is making you feel. I don't like to take anything that makes me sick. So that's what was going on. Like, and I knew I got in tune with my body enough to know that if I would have stayed medicated like that heavily medicated, I wouldn't be here. Wow. But eventually, I was being weaned off of the oxygen. You know, I got weaned off the oxygen. That was a 24-hour. I mean, I had the little carrying tanks and everything, you know. That was a process. And I think at the highest, when I was diagnosed, I was like 212, right? When, after all the steroids and everything, I was 375, 380.
No way.
Within like a year and a half. That's how everything just skyrocketed. So I couldn't, me being depressed or sad, it's like I didn't even have a chance to understand what was fully going on.
What was going on, because it was happening so fast. And well, what were you thinking in your mind? Mentally, how were you feeling? Because obviously you knew that you were getting heavier and heavier, right?
I couldn't breathe, like my breath, you know. And then the craziest thing, because the doctors always say, well, you need to lose the weight. I'm like, I don't even know how at this point, because I can't move, and outside of the prednisone is good for what it's good for. It does what it's supposed to do. But the side effects of it is just something totally different. And it had me in a space where, like, when I was just taking a couple of steps, my heart rate would be, like,
that had to be scary, though.
Very scary. I had to wear heart monitors. I had to do it. Put it like this: it wasn't until after I went through the process that I really was able to, what's the word you used? Unpack everything that I had been through. I couldn't unpack the whole first probably 5 to 10 years, because it was so much happening. So much on top of each other.
So let's talk about when you started to unpack. How was that?
Oh,
yes. That's what we want to know. We want to know when you began to when it finally sunk in. You know what you were dealing with, and you had to process all of that and unpack it all.
Yeah. It was like.
Did you cry a lot?
I cried, and I think what hurt me the most is I couldn't move like I want to no more. Like, I couldn't. I was working with a lot of artists at the time, so we had shows, you know, a bunch of shows going on, but I couldn't get to the shows. Like, it got to the point where I was, you know, I would always be at one of their shows. You know, I would always be the one to show up, make sure everything's together when I whatever. But it was getting to the point where I couldn't be there. You know, so you
couldn't do your job.
I couldn't do my job.
Right.
It affected everything. So it was a lot of readjusting and just trying to come to terms with the fact that I was not able to be as, you know, productive as I once was.
So is that where the tears were coming from? That's what you were crying and you were saying to yourself? What do you say to yourself?
Because it's like, because I'm 27, you know, I was 27 at the time, so, you know, at 25 years old, I just hit, like, that 25 was, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm moving.
Right.
I'm in school, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm just ready to take over the world. But it's like when your dreams kind of get crushed, you know? Like, all the things that I had planned that I saw for me and, you know, I saw myself doing and, you know, having established for my family, my nieces and my nephews, it was like everything just got crushed because my health wouldn't allow me to. And I don't like being defeated.
And you felt like
I felt very much defeated.
So how do you get out of that defeat? How did you?
Prayer. Prayer. I prayed a lot. During those times, because outside of my mom and my dad, that was pretty much it as far as my support system. I had one of my closest cousins. She lived out of state, so I know she couldn't be there.
Right.
But as far as having a support team, it was my parents. And
But did you talk to them? Did you share how you were feeling?
Yeah.
You did open up to them, so you had a release, which is important,
Right?
And I really believe in that, because what happens when you start suppressing and you have no release, you have no one to talk to.
Right.
And again, you just can't talk to anybody, because not everybody's going to receive what it is that you're trying to get through, and not everybody's going to be receptive to it.
Right.
So you need somebody to really listen and to understand what it is that you're going through. And sometimes that can be difficult.
Yeah, very
so
hard.
It is, truly a blessing that you had your parents there, that you could actually talk to them and tell them how you really feel, because it's never good to keep all of that in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you.
Thank you
for that, and you look great.
Thank you.
By the way, so how are things progressing with you right now? How are things going?
So far, so good. Okay, so like I said, the scarring that the type of sarcoid that I had called scarring. Mm-hmm. So the first initial X-rays, with X-ray, you see two lungs. Your picture supposed to be black. Mine was like a cotton field. My mom said it reminded her of a cotton field because how cloudy my lungs were.
Wow.
And I think that was 20. The pandemic hit, so that had to, I think it was like 2021 maybe.
2020, 2021, yeah.
2021. I went in and had another CT scan. My the sarcoidosis specialist is at MUSC in Charleston. Mm-hmm. So I started going to him a couple years back, and he's been monitoring me, whatever. And I told him about the different herbs and stuff that I was taking, like prior to that year. So he knew everything I had going on.
Okay, good.
And when he did a CT scan, he we did the video visit, and he said your scan looks good. He said your lungs are clear, and I said, huh? I was like, what?
Okay.
I said, say that again.
Look
he
at
said,
God.
Your lungs are clear. And I'm like, I'm sitting there looking at him in the camera like, oh, lungs are clear. What you mean? Like, can you flip the camera around? Can I see what you're seeing right now?
Right.
And I just need to see it, And he did. He took the camera, he flipped around, and he showed me the scan, and my lungs were like, the picture was black. And I was like, wow. Then he did it. He showed up. So.
Yeah, and he usually does. So what do you think what have you learned? What have you been taught throughout this whole process of being diagnosed to where you are right now?
Patience, faith. You gotta believe. You gotta know. You gotta know that you will be healed. You gotta be able to see it. You gotta want it so bad. That's every day you wake up. That's your main goal.
Wow.
Like that's how I would have to focus. Like mentally, I would put myself in a place like, I know I got to stick to this. Because it's hard, because life happens. So you be taking everything like you're supposed to, and then something happen and it just all blows up. And it's like, okay, get back to it, Chris. You got to keep taking this herb, make sure you get it together. And eventually everything.
But were there days that you didn't want to?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
You're like, I'm not feeling this today.
It's been some days. Some days has turned into weeks. Like some weeks has turned into a month. I try not to go past a month because, like I said, life happens.
So, when that happens, like the days or the weeks, and the weeks turn into months where you really just not feeling, and you're like, I don't even want to deal with this today. So what is your mind telling you? Is it telling you a part of you have given up temporarily, maybe?
More tired. Being tired of having to be stuck in the same process. And I'm the type of person, like, for me to stick to something, I need it in that process. I need it in that order. I need that stability that I know, okay, well, if I do this, this going to work. So I got to keep at it for 14 days. I got to keep at it for, a month. I got to keep at it for 3 to 6 months for this to work. Mm-hmm. Like I have to stay focused. I think the biggest thing with me knowing that me seeing my aunt go through it was a lot, because my nieces and my nephew was coming up, so they looking at me go through it. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want them to feel what I felt when my aunt passed. So I'm trying to figure out everything I can
breaking
do.
the generational curses. Right. Because you don't want them to go through the same thing. Right. You don't want them to see what you saw. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So you put on a different.
Right.
Yeah.
I can show you better than I can tell you. Like, you see me, you see the condition I'm in, but if I can't tell you because you're not going to understand. But if I can show you that, okay,
you can try.
Auntie really put her all into this, and she really came back. She's not on the oxygen no more. She's not on that medication no more. Right, so, she's better. She's moving. She's getting up.
That's good.
Yeah. It. Like I said, having faith and knowing that that's gonna be what's your end goal gonna be. Like.
And you say you prayed a lot, so you believe, mm-hmm. and you have faith, and you believe that, God was trying to tell you something.
Right.
And, you have to be aware of his presence, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be aware of that. And you mentally, you have to tell yourself, I got to keep going.
Right.
I can't stop. This will not defeat me. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be better. And I'm going to heal. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep. You have to. Because it's so much that's going against you. It was my my respiratory therapist telling me one year that I needed to go ahead and put my name on a donors list for a lung transplant.
No way. Mm-hmm. How did that make you feel?
I hit rock bottom. I went rock bottom. I went back to rock bottom in the midst of everything that was going on, because my aunt, she was on a lung transplant. She was to have a double lung transplant at MUSC. I moved her down to the campus, but she ended up picking up pneumonia, and she passed before she could have her surgery. So him telling me that, it was like,
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
dealing with what you've been dealing with up until that point, and then to have somebody that's supposed to have your best interest at heart, and encourage you, is telling you, you need to go ahead and put yourself on a donor list.
Yep, to put my name.
So when you said you hit rock bottom, what was rock bottom?
I think I got to a point where I wasn't going out. I was more shut in than anything. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to go around people. I was scared to get close to people because of the fact that of me leaving or they leaving. It was like not being able to handle it mentally. So I just secluded myself. I cut myself completely off for a while.
And so with that being said, what does it do to you? Did you think about death a lot after that?
Not so much. Because
I'm thinking that would have traumatized me.
Yeah, it puts you there. But how I am, like, it's when we hear news from doctors and it's like, it's shocking, and it's like, whew, okay. It takes me, like, I'm gonna take a couple of days. I take 2 to 3 days to digest it, and then I go into survival mode. Like, what I got to do now? Okay, so what do I need to do? Where I need to go? Who else I need to talk to? There's got to be something different. You can't
let me get a second, third, fourth, fifth, opinion.
I'm the type of person, you can't tell me there's nothing you can do, or there's nothing else we can do, because
good for you.
Always got to be something we can do.
Right.
That's how I made it through. Wow. Outside of having faith.
So let's talk about you going through all of this and your relationships, your personal relationships. Because, I mean, that had, okay, I hit something.
No.
Okay, I hit something just now. So let's talk about it, girl. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and get it out. Let's do some unpacking.
Put it like this. Okay, so I was in one relationship during my illness, during that time. And me not being out and about, like I said, I was shut in. I'm in the house. So I'm not really too, I don't know what's going on out in the streets, whatever. Mm-hmm. And this guy, we actually went to school together. He messaged me one day on Facebook, and it started from there.
Okay.
My first question to him was like, are you in a relationship? Are you married? He said no. So, okay. Me being me, I hate. Because at this point, I've been shut in.
Right.
I've been shut in.
Okay. I get it. I'm reading between the lines here. I get it.
I've been shut in. So let me take this chance. Let me try this opportunity, whatnot, whatever. But long story short, that man was married.
Ooh.
And his wife was pregnant.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
His wife was pregnant. And
oh, wow.
Our anniversary would have been on the same day.
No.
And they was married. I don't think they got married the same day that he messaged me. So,
wait a minute. Say that one more time. Like, can we do a rewind?
Yeah.
Say that one more time, please.
The day that he messaged me, which would have been the day that we started talking, which would have been the anniversary date, like the initial date that we started talking was the same day as his anniversary to his wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: did he know about your condition? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how did he react to that? Because sometimes that would scare people away, He was
very very protective, overprotective, very concerning, very, if you need me, I'm there.
And that made you feel
I was
like he was your man.
Yeah, I was comfortable. I didn't know. Like, we was out in the city together. I didn't know. Like, I didn't know. I did not know.
And so when you found that out, mm-hmm. dealing with everything that you were dealing with, how in the world were you up here? How did you manage that? How do you go from there to that beautiful smile on your face right now?
Because I know better. Because at the end of the day, sometimes women say there's no good man out here, there's no good man around, whatever. But I'm a daddy's girl. Like,
I know all about that.
I'm a daddy's girl, so I know that my daddy has set a certain example, in my life, And people think, oh, you're a daddy's girl, you spoiled. He got you spoiled. No. He got me spoiled when it comes to
knowing how you should be treated.
Right. It's not more so money and having nice things, because he gave, him and my mom taught me, to work for what you want and go get it,
Right.
But like, my daddy's never been abusive. My daddy is very soft spoken. So he never yelled. My daddy never yelled. So if you hear his tone change, just a little bit, it's like,
you'll be like, oh, okay.
What happened? Like, get right.
It's funny you say that, because my dad was the same way. He was very soft spoken, mm-hmm. never yelled. Mm-hmm. I don't even think my daddy even beat my bottom. I don't even think he beat my butt ever. You know what I'm saying? But it was just something about his tone.
Right.
Because when he would come to me and I messed up or whatever, the way he talked to me, it was just like, when you a daddy's girl, the last thing you want to do is disappoint your daddy. Okay? So I would be like bawling after he had a conversation with me about what I just messed up.
Right.
I would be like, you know what? Now just beat me.
Right.
Just beat me. Just go get the belt and beat me. Okay?
Get it over with. We ain't got to talk no more.
Right. So, our dads, they set examples for us, and God bless you for, being raised in a two-parent household. I really do strongly believe that makes a difference. Mm-hmm. So yeah, with him setting the high example, how do you think you went astray though? You were just unknowing because you didn't know.
Yeah, because I
right?
didn't know.
You didn't know.
I didn't know.
This guy wasn't honest with you.
He wouldn't be, yeah. But I tell you this, like anytime, because it's okay. Like if I'm dealing with somebody, it's like stages with me, right? If I'm dealing with somebody, I deal with you a while, then I let you meet my mom. Yeah. Now my mom gonna read you first, Then after, it kind of passes with her, give it take a couple of months, then you might. My dad is like that last.
Yeah.
That last one you gonna meet. Like if you get to my dad, then we done sat and we talk, then you going to talk to him about, what you about to have plans for us or something.
Right.
Like, cause you ain't just gonna go tell my daddy and everything. Mm-hmm. So, that has always stuck with me when it comes to dating, and I think that's why I've always been kind of cautious with, with men, because at the end of the day, they could tell you one thing, and because I've been sold a dream or two, and
haven't we all?
it's just I've been told that I'm difficult, or that I set my standards too high, all type of things, and I'm saying, like, I don't see it that way.
Of course you don't.
I don't see it that way. I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect by any means. Like,
I really think I don't know that whole your standards are too high thing. I think that's just a cop out to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking if you set goals and values to who you are, who you are as a person, right? How can my standards be too high? I know what I'm willing to accept.
Right.
I know what I'm going to accept.
Exactly.
And I'm not lowering my standards for anybody. Mm-hmm. You got to meet me on that level.
Right.
And then we work toward better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's difficult. Relationships out here these days are just, man, it's just like, I don't understand. People just be out here peopling. Yeah. And I mean, and it's like, what is you doing? I don't understand. I don't get it. And it's really hard when you're authentic.
Right.
Right? When you're transparent and you're organic and you try to do everything the right way.
Right.
And then somebody comes in your lane and then just everything is chaotic.
Yeah.
You're not jiving.
Right.
And what they're going to say is you're difficult.
Right. Yep.
No, I'm just out here being me.
Right.
Right.
And I know what I want, and I know what I don't want. Like, I don't want to have to wonder where you are, or wonder why you haven't texted me in 2 to 3 days. Ooh. Like stuff like that. Like I don't have space for it. I don't have the emotional.
Because that's emotionally draining.
Yes.
When you have to second guess, when you have to wonder, when you're in a relationship where you just don't know, everything is where they at, what they doing,
Yeah.
It's
I don't feel like it should be that hard. Like I look at my relationships with my people, with my circle, and how we interact with each other. Like if these are my brothers or my sisters. And we respect each other enough, like I know if I text you, then I know it ain't gonna take a week for you to text me back. Right. I know Pam gonna text me back. It might not be in the next hour or the next 30 minutes, but I know when Pam sees it, she gonna hit me back.
Right.
Okay, so we have that type of respect for each other. So if I'm dealing with somebody on an intimate level, like it should surpass that, of what my friendship, my circle is. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't catch that.
So where are you now?
Single.
Okay. She didn't even let me get it out of my mouth.
Single.
She didn't even get the whole sentence out. You quickly said single.
I can't.
Okay, so is the next person gonna have some real trouble? They're gonna have some trouble on their hands? Somebody that tries to get close to you now?
No, because I went to therapy. I started therapy after my last relationship. And
is that the one that we were talking about previously? Okay.
No, that was before that.
Because that would have sent me to therapy, honey.
No, that one didn't send me to therapy. My last relationship, that one sent me into therapy because I had to figure out what was going on inside of me, that I would put up with certain things or deal with certain things, knowing my worth and knowing I deserve better.
So how did you arrive at that stop sign that says you need to go to therapy?
Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Um,
Because typically, we don't have that in our families, in our culture. You know, typically we don't seek that therapy. So I'm interested to know, how did you come to that realization on your own that, you know what, I need some professional help? Not that there's anything wrong with that, you know. I'm just saying, how did you get to that point?
A broken heart. Like, I think sometimes, like, we go through situations and we hurt and we grieve, but sometimes, like, if that right situation hurts you the wrong way, like, it's kind of hard to come back from. And it was hard. It was getting hard for me to move past that relationship, my last relationship, because it got so far deep up into my family, because it was, the talk of marriage. Like, he talked to my dad about marrying me. Like, it was those levels. It wasn't just like a regular relationship.
Right.
And I had to figure that part out, because, like I said, I know what I want and I know what I deserve. I know my worth, but what was kept
making you go the other way, you know?
Because you hear people say, you are you are what you attract. So I'm like, but that ain't me though. Right. But that ain't me though. What am I doing wrong here? Like, something's not, the math ain't math.
Okay.
Okay.
I get it.
So, and what I learned, when you, even any kind of healing that you're going through, healing process, right? When, I had just gone through the healing process with my lungs. So I had to go deeper. Because it's not just your, your health. It's not just your physical health. You got to think about your emotional health,
right?
Your spiritual health, mental health. All this connects and it goes back to your body.
And sometimes it's hard. It's really hard, real difficult to go deeper.
Yeah.
Because it's scary.
It's very scary. It's very scary. I was pulling up things that happened when I was in my 20s that I didn't realize that I was reacting from. I was reacting from, in that moment, from things that happened to me when I was young.
And you learned that through therapy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's how I made a connection to a lot of things, like, okay, I have an abandonment issue. Right? I have an abandonment issue that came up and from situations through life, from child, teenager, mid-adult, up until now. And it got to the point, like, okay, why did I go into this mental place when I'm not, if I'm calling the phone and he's not answering, or he's not replying and it's been 2 days, I'm automatically going into, I think something's wrong with you. Like, you got to be dead, right? Like, that type of disconnect, to me, that's what it felt like. It felt like a disconnect that I had to figure out, like, what was...
You felt like you were being abandoned.
Yeah. Like, why would my mind go straight into that, And it's worked.
So you learned a lot. Are you still
going to therapy? Yeah, I still go to therapy every Tuesday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love my therapist. Like, that was one of the best decisions I made in my adult life, because, like I said, even though physically I was doing better, I had to heal mentally. I had to heal emotionally.
Yes,
my lungs are clear, but I'm walking in Walmart crying right now because I'm hurt. Like, I gotta.
And you got to deal with that hurt.
Yeah,
you got to find out where that hurt is coming from and heal from that hurt.
Right.
And that's a process of looking at yourself, and dealing with that. And sometimes we don't. We just want to just go into a room and just cover our heads up over the, pillow over our heads and just give up.
Yeah.
But we can't do that, right? We can't do that. That's not an option.
Right. It's not an option.
So we got to heal. And I'm so glad that you're here.
It's a process.
I'm so glad that you're
It's
healing.
a process.
Yeah.
Healing.
So what's next for you?
Um,
Do you still believe in a really good relate? Do you want to get married?
I do. I
Okay.
do one day. I believe so. Cause like I said, like I know good men. I know
They are out there. They're
I
just
know
hard to
good men.
find.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah. You gotta shift through it, but
Right.
yeah. But I know it's there. I know it. I know I'm not that difficult a person. I had to understand that I'm not difficult. I'm not hard to love. I'm not hard to understand. It's just
But when you've been
yeah.
told that
Yeah.
time after time and again, from people, you start to
start
buy
thinking
into
it,
that.
right.
You start to believe that. Well, maybe I am
Yeah,
difficult.
I'm the problem.
Yeah, I'm the problem.
Right.
What? How do I not be the
Right.
problem? I don't
Right.
want to be the problem.
Me.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's me. So
Wow.
yeah. I say it's not that far out in my future that I say I know I won't get married. I know I won't ever find the right person, because I believe that. I believe it. Somebody for me.
That's right.
Somebody for me.
Of course it is.
Like everything else, I wait and be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Wait it out.
So, are you in a better place now?
I am. I am so much in a better place. It's just
So, what do you attribute that to?
just living, being able to say I survived, being able to say I went through it. Because it's a lot of things that I think everyone fight on a day-to-day basis that we don't actually take the time to understand. Like, I did it. I fought, I won, I accomplished it. Because it'd be the small things for me. I pay attention to. Just to tell me to keep pushing.
Right.
Like I know, like I dream and I have thoughts of things that I want to do or things that I'm working on, and I get so tired. I get so caught up in everything that I forget about everything that I've already accomplished.
Right.
It's like
that's important
yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see where you've come from.
Right.
And you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot, and you deserve to be happy.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves to be happy.
Right.
And just it's shame on those who just take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Shame on those who come into our lives with nothing but, destructive thoughts.
Right.
Because there are people out there that's like that.
Right.
And, and if you're trusting you're being the person that you are, and somebody comes into your space pretending to be X, Y, and Z, and then you find out they, the letters in the middle or the beginning of the alphabet, you ain't who you say you are supposed to be, and
Right.
that leaves you damaged, right? And then you have to start all over again from ground zero.
Yeah. And it's
building up again,
It's okay to heal. Like, it's okay to take that time out to heal. It's okay to get yourself together, because even the end of a bad relationship or a relationship period, that's still a grief,
Yes,
like even
absolutely
if
it
you
is.
fall out with your best friend, you fall out with somebody you've been friends with, like you still grieving that person because you used to that person always being there,
Right.
and that's something that we have to acknowledge. And I think a lot of times we just keep moving.
Right. And we don't talk about it because we think it's just going to go away.
Yeah. Until it shows back up.
Until it shows back up in the most destructive form,
And,
because, there's the anger, there's the, I just, it's,
Yeah.
we got to start dealing with our issues. We really do. And that's the whole purpose of the tissue box. We want to break generational curses.
Yes.
We don't want to keep reliving the same situation over and over and over again. And we do that because we're not honest with ourselves.
Right.
So we got to take that hard look in the mirror and have a desire to be a better person.
Right.
You got to want to be better. You got every single day. And that's something, it's just like a regular job. You have to work at it. It doesn't come easy
Yep.
You know?
That's just like I told my brother the other day because I was talking to him about counseling, whatnot, whatever, and I gave him the example. I said, just like you want to go to work every day, like you want to get up and go to work, like you want to get up, you go in on your days off to go to work. Like you want to fix your car when it's broken. Like you want to make sure that your motor's good, your engine good, your brakes good, all this is good on your car.
Right.
Just like you want to make sure the money gonna be there when you clock them hours that you're working on your paycheck, right? You gotta want that same. It's gotta be that same type of drive for your health, for your mental health.
That's so
because
good. That's so good.
like I feel like us as a culture, and you know what? I think during the pandemic it changed a lot. I think the pandemic brought the conversation of mental health up in a more positive light within our people, with our culture.
We were forced to. I mean, because all of us were home.
Right.
Right. We were at home with our families, and that did a lot to people mentally, but having honest conversations about it, So I think mental health now, there's so many people that are struggling with mental illness. You got to be careful what you say to people because you never know what triggers a person, We were out, me and my girlfriend were out just the other day, and we were trying to pull into a park. Let me just tell you how people are, I thought he was flagging, saying, go ahead and get the park. So when she was trying to turn in, he was like gesturing, all these gestures. I said, okay, never mind. Sweetie, just keep going.
Right.
We'll find another one because it's not worth it.
Yeah,
it's just not worth it. Because, that could have been real ugly because people now, they don't care. They'll get out. They'll have a pistol in the car ready to shoot you.
Right.
Right.
And
it's like, this mental illness thing is a struggle right now for a lot of people. A lot of people are on edge and just ready to blow up. That's why it's so important that we have conversations like this.
I don't even understand that what's gotten them to that place, or how to even try to address it or fix it.
Right. Well, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you, and I really mean this. That I'm really proud of you for sharing, because I know this is not a conversation that you have every day.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not easy to talk about, but it's healing though.
Right.
It's not only healing for you and everybody listening, it's healing for me as well.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have to do for each other.
Right.
We have to help each other heal. And thank you for helping us heal today with your story, because
you for having me.
I mean, this is really good stuff that you're sharing, and I'm just so grateful that you're honest enough to share and being vulnerable enough to share your story.
Right.
Because that's not always easy.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing, and I wish you absolutely nothing but the best. I love you.
I love you too.
So thank you so much again for sharing with us today, and you be blessed.
Thank you.
Right? That takes care of this episode of The Tissue Box. Thank you so much for listening. We certainly hope that you've enjoyed the conversation, that you've learned something from the conversation. And we want you to stay connected with The Tissue Box. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you turn on all your notifications so you will hear from us when there's another upload. And just make sure you visit thetissuebox.com and grab you some of that Tissue Box merchandise. It's a beautiful thing. Until next time. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, leave rating, and a review. And let's stay connected. Visit thetissuebox.com to join our mailing list. Until next time.